He is 100% worth it.
He takes it to another level. Oh my God, I just fell in love with it.
Thanks so much, Jay.
Blew my mind. And it worked. I wanted to buy my thing.
Jay is, I would say, the Yoda of sales calls, man.
Just talking to Jay, he was so good at just taking what it is, seeing the opportunity and the value and the real reason we are making it.
Talk to Jay, because he got it. He can definitely help you out.
Talk to Jay. You're going to get a lot. You're going to gain a lot.
I would absolutely recommend him for any position that you have.
Jay's definitely the guy.
Give him the chance, give him the opportunity. You won't regret it.
He's good at what he does, so I highly recommend him, and I would book him before he is fully booked out.
Welcome back to the Sales Ninja Show podcast, where we bring you insights from the best businesses to help you scale, inspire, and dominate your field. Today's guest is a special one, an award-winning filmmaker whose work is redefining personal branding for entrepreneurs. With a passion for storytelling and a sharp creative vision, he's the founder of Your Legacy Films, a production studio dedicated to making businesses and their owners unforgettable. He's helped countless entrepreneurs transition from being just another face in their industry to becoming iconic figures with personal brands that demand attention and respect. His approach? Thanks for asking. Crafting documentary-style films that don't just tell your story, but they turn it into a transformational experience. If you've ever thought of building a personal brand, which can sound intimidating, you're about to learn just how simple and powerful it can be. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the incredible man, myth, and legend, Lefteris Koutinas. Welcome to the Sales Ninja Show podcast. How are you doing, my friend?
Good, man. What's going on? Long time.
Yes, you are not a stranger to me, but for some other people, you might be. So let me just do an extra intro to the intro. It's been quite the journey. Just to let you guys know who are watching the Sales Ninja Show podcast or watching, the replay. This is the man, the myth, the legend that has been responsible for making and helping and building my brand, my videos, my VSL, my video sales letter, and months and months and months worth of the highest production video that I've actually ever had, and some of the highest performing views. And this man is a master at film, at documentaries, at video, at photography, at editing. And I mean, we'll go into the story, but we've spent many hours, many days, many lunches, many bubble teas of you walking around and lugging all your gear and going downtown, going to the distillery, going to the lake, shopping at Best Buy to get extra batteries, and we've done it all, right? We've had so many tales.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
I miss you, man.
I miss you too, dude. So I'm happy that we're doing this.
Yes, it's been a minute. So my apologies. So tell us your story. I mean, you're a storyteller and you help tell other people's stories, but how many people get to actually interview the storyteller who interviews them for their stories? So tell us your story.
Yeah, I mean, so I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. They dominated radio and television broadcasting between the 1970s and the early 2000s. Then from there, they decided to take like a shift and pivot from radio and television because it was, the traditional media outlets were kind of slowly going on a decline. But then, I was also entering high school and, becoming a bit more of a man at that point. And I wanted to take my own journey and my own path, which
be a man.
Yeah, be a man. Which led me to loving music. And I fell in love with music. And during the time, depending on who's watching this, there were some, pirating softwares like Napster and LimeWire and I'm sure there was a couple other ones back then. But you were able to just download music from like all over the world. Like you couldn't go to Sam the Record Man or any of those record stores and like find music from like Europe or Asia or anything, right? Like you can only get that if you visited those countries. And at that point I fell in love with house music. I just found like techno from all over the world. Yeah. And I don't know, man, it did something to me. It did something to me where I wanted to remix it. I wanted to play it. I wanted to perform it. I wanted to produce it. And that's exactly what I did. Maybe I did it for my own selfish reasons because I wanted to be the cool kid in high school and get all the girls. And that's, you know, kind of the path that I was leading during that time. But that also led me to, you know, performing all over North America and performing in front of 50,000 people on a beach in Greece, led me to just being on so many amazing stages and being able to entertain so many people in so many different areas and walks of life. And I think that's really where I started to understand more, you know, branding and personal branding, right? Because I actually had to tell a story through music. I couldn't use my words, right? And I think that, you know, using tempos and melodies and all that to kind of craft these stories that would like lead people into sometimes like a different dimension. You know, that really got me excited about the storytelling process. And you know, from there, as people might know with the music industry, as though it has good times, it also has like bad times. And I don't know if this was literally just like a nudge from God, but you know, he was just like, yo, Lefty, like, I can't let you, you know, I can't let my child like go down this path and go more closer to the evil one. So I gotta take you out of this. And luckily he did, because I'll be honest with you, I was going down a bad path. I mean, I've no need to go into crazy details, but I'm sure many can relate. But yeah, at that point, I met my wife, and I think, you know, that was the calling to kind of get me out of that landscape. And then, yeah, 10 years ago, I kind of picked up a camera, and here we are. Ever since, we've just kind of been on this filmmaking journey, and it's been a great one. Yeah.
Amazing. So I know we've already had, you know, conversations, and I want to talk about the new pivot. You know, you're an award-winning filmmaker, and I lost count after, I don't know how many, 10. How many awards have you won, and how did you, or how does one win awards in the filmmaking industry?
You know, sometimes I'm not even the one submitting my own projects. Like, it's the people that I'm doing the projects for that do the submissions. So I'll be honest with you, like I 100% know of 10 awards that I've won. Wow. There probably could be more. But yeah, like like how you win primarily is just, you know, we like to bring all our projects through the film festivals, you know, whether they are local, international, national, and of course, you know, you also want to find the right festivals that are made for the projects and are meant for the projects, right? So we, you know, and then you can also kind of like go into those categories, and you know, you can best trailer, best short film, best cinematography, best whatever, right? There's like dozens of categories, and then you submit your film for the category that you're going to go under. And then other than that, you either get, you know, an official selection, which means like, hey, you were good enough to be selected and we like your work, but you didn't win the actual award for that category. The official selection is almost like a nominated, right? Just like how you see like the Grammys or the Oscars, you have like 4 or 5 nominations, except in the film festival circuit, there could be like 30 nominations, or could be 50 nominations, right? Maybe not 50, I'm probably exaggerating, but you get the point. And then from there, it's like once you win, you get the email that hey, you won, and then you get the pretty little laurel, which is like, you know, the little wreath with where you won, and you get to post that. You get to update your thumbnail or your movie poster or whatever you're using, and people can see that, and you just it's
Very
kind
cool.
of like it's kind of like a good way to say like, hey, my film was, you know, good enough for people to care about to select it for this.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on your numerous awards. That's a perfect segue for personal branding with the documentary style videos. And my question, and just for the audience who is listening here, how do you create a personal brand that resonates and commands attention? Because there are people who are doing it for the wrong reasons. And, you know, was that right or wrong? That's, you know, one part question. And some people, when they're doing it that way, they're attracting, I don't know if you call it the wrong audience. Is there such thing as a wrong audience? Because some people actually do things to polarize on purpose, and then they thank the naysayers and the people who are negative for basically boosting their engagement and helping lift their brand. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the wrong way of building a personal brand is, you know, not being 100% authentically yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've come into this new ideology in which, you know, if I'm not upsetting somebody or if I'm not making you feel something, then I'm not doing my job, right? And I don't, at this point, it's like I almost don't even care what the emotion is, whether I make you happy or whether I anger you, right? I'm becoming more my true self online. And some people can say that, you know, maybe the things that I do for my videos are a little bit questionable. I mean, I put out a very questionable.
I think I know the one you're talking about. The last one?
The one yesterday, yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, I didn't see the one yesterday. I saw the one where you were like in a bathrobe, like Hugh Hefner, and there's like all these girls.
Yeah. I mean, I I did that. I did that that series a while ago, but I've actually kind of like pushed myself kind of towards that a little bit, and that's only. And I'll be honest with you, like you're gonna hear it first. I've always kind of been the chubby kid, right? I've never had the beautiful physique, you know what I mean? And I think the exposing part is not only to be hilarious, but it's also to kind of just say, yo, you know what? If I never get the chiseled body like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I'm okay. I look good. You know what I mean? I think it's more so to be comfortable in front on the camera by like kind of being in my birthday suit, right? And at the same time, it's like I've also realized that the best way to build a personal brand is I want the underwear on the couch eating Cheetos version of you, right? That's the best way to build a personal brand. And the reason why I say that is because, yeah, you might not be for everybody. You might have political views. You might have religious views. You might have whatever type of views. And the people that see that and gravitate towards that, they're the ones that are going to also, you know, they're going to have the same ideology as you. They're going to love you. They're going to be like, yes, Jay, or yes, Lefty. That's what I'm talking about. And the people that don't like that stuff, they're just going to naturally go away. They're going to naturally unfollow.
I think it only makes sense for us to show. Is this the one that you're talking about?
There it is.
Okay. Let's do the audience a favor here. I'm not sure if you can hear. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the sound, but let me know if you can hear the sound on this.
Crazy, right? Like 1 minute I'm draped over Lefty, pretending to care about another industry celebrity, and then I realized, what the fuck am I doing here? Turns out that it wasn't just a prop in his weird metaphor about branding. Nope. I joined his YLF Academy, and now I'm starring in The Cleaner, a show as raw and as real as it gets. Who knew that pretending to clean up crime scenes was the key to my success? What? You actually thought it was murder? Relax. It's called acting. You know, storytelling. That thing that Lefty makes you annoyingly good at the academy. Here's the thing about this academy. You think you're signing up to learn about branding, and then bam! You have a cult following, and people actually give a shit about your content. Oh, and if you're wondering what happens if you don't join the academy, Lefty sends you nudes. Trust me. You don't want that.
You've been warned.
Oh my gosh. No, DM
How
no
about that
news,
party
please.
scene? Crazy.
Don't
Okay,
give
that's
me
awesome.
a reason to ruin your holidays.
I love that. What does it say? No nude. What was it called to action? No nudes.
No nudes,
Yeah.
please.
Oh yeah, please. That's awesome. I'm just gonna comment on that. That was really, really well done. Oh, there it is. DM no nudes, please. Cool. I love this. Who the heck is that guy in the? Is that one of your friends?
I'm actually in the process of filming an exclusive YouTube episodic series.
Yeah.
So this girl Josephine, she's actually the main actress for the show that I'm filming, and that was another guy that she murdered in the show. So yeah.
Here,
2025 release, no date yet, but early 2025.
Here's a little side, a personal agenda that I'm gonna just, because I was a big fan of Kim's Convenience, and I know the creator and the producer of it, but Dale is our friend and in the Sales Ninja Mastermind, and he's also an actor and also a musician, just an incredibly talented guy. Yeah. And I said to him jokingly, "Why don't you do Yim's Convenience?" Dale Yim is his last name.
Yeah.
If anyone could pull it up, it could be you.
Probably, maybe. I've never actually really dabbled into comedy, even though I film.
But you do it so well, and that's what actually really resonates with people, because there's things. I mean, so don't get me wrong, documentaries are powerful in how you make you feel. There's something that's lighthearted about, hey, people just really want to laugh because life is so stressful and it's so hard. And I actually teeter between watching documentaries that are meaningful because I only have a limited amount of time, and then comedy. Those are the basically two main things that I watch, right? And then there's also a lot of different things like entertainment and thrillers and action and rom-coms that other people watch. I just don't have the bandwidth in my schedule to do those things unless I'm totally taking time off, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's something about the parodies or the things that you do. That the Old Spice commercial, I think, did you not do a parody on that as well?
I did. That's kind of what you were referring to with the whole Hugh Hefner robe thing.
Yeah. Was it this one, or did you have another one from before?
That was the only one that I did. But and I'm really hate to do this, but I was very disappointed with Alex Hormozy on his Old Spice recreate because
really
he kind of took the script word for word and only changed a few words, which I was kind of disappointed. Come on, man. You can pay all this money for great writers and you literally ripped off the entire script.
The script.
At least when I did it, I at least did my very best to rejig it to the best of my ability. So yeah, honestly, and I know Alex Hormozy has no idea who I am. Maybe one day he will. And
he needs to hire you to be able to.
I gotta admit, man, right? I gotta admit, you lost brownie points with me on that one. Creativity.
Okay, let's take a quick look at this.
You just need to tell a story that matters. I mean, there I was, just a regular filmmaker, trying to stay under the radar and tell normal stories. Then I had to go and create this academy to teach entrepreneurs how to build a brand people actually remember. But then reality hits. Because every time you try to start, it's like, wait, what's my story again? Am I supposed to be inspirational, relatable, funny? Should I talk about my breakfast? And don't even get me started on my phone. It's like a relentless alarm clock from hell. You want to know another thing I hate about the Academy? It's affecting everyone else around me. People start to think that creating something meaningful, something evergreen is just normal. How am I supposed to teach people the struggle of being ignored when they're out there building brands people actually care about? And let me give you one last warning about the Why I Left Academy. Don't do it. You're suddenly surrounded by people that are just as wild as you. The kind of crowd your high school guidance counselor warned you about. So if you're thinking about joining the Academy, where I'll unfortunately be teaching you how to build a personal brand that sticks, don't. But hey, if you insist on learning valuable skills that'll change the way people see your brand, that'll give you more time, more impact, and yeah, probably more money, go ahead. Reach out. Let's ruin your content hustle together. But don't say I didn't warn you.
I love that. You come from a different standpoint. You differentiate yourself from the rest with video, audio, and scripting and creativity, which is the beautiful art of who you are and what you do. So well done.
Thank you. Well, I mean, that's film is essentially an audio visual experience, right? It's you can't
That's
have
the
one
basic
without the
instincts move right there, right?
yeah. You really can't have one without the other. It's one of those things that, like, yeah, you just everything plays a role, and I think a lot of people undervalue it, and I don't know who created this, this ideology that, like, hey, you can half-ass things, but I think people are kind of slowly starting to understand that, like, yeah, like, even though I do have a phone, even though I can do this on my own, like, there's literally a lot more to it than just picking up a phone and hitting record. Like, there's so much more to it than just that.
Okay, so tell us more, because I mean, there are people who literally do that, and that already is a feat in itself, because some of them don't even know how to use the phone. Some of them don't know what the functions are in the phone or in the native apps. How does, like, a new person that wants to get out there, get their message across, build their brand, outside of obviously hiring you, what are some practical tips to help them build their brand and generate sales? Obviously, this is a Sales Ninja Show podcast, so it wouldn't be one without having some sales mentions of how storytelling and documentaries can lead to building that brand to help increase their business.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first piece of advice that I would give is switch from talking about facts to talking about experience, right? A lot of people get into this, especially as, like, a newcomer. You really start feeling imposter syndrome. But, like, why do you feel imposter syndrome? You feel it because you think that whatever you're going to say or whatever your content is going to put out is not good enough. Why? You fall into the comparison trap, right? So what ends up happening is you put out your 3 reasons why video, or you put out what you learned in 2024 about operating a business, for example, or how to make $1 million, or whatever the case might be. You put out that video. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to see another 30,000 videos that probably say the same exact thing. And that person might have better audio. They might have better video. They might have, who knows? Maybe they have better information, or it's perceived that they have better information. But the truth is, they're saying the exact same thing as you are. But you feel like an imposter because that video might have done better. That video might have gotten better results than the one that you put out there. And then you start feeling like an imposter. But you want to know how you cannot feel like an imposter? Speaking from experience, telling stories. Because, like, if I turn around to you right now and I say, hey, man, like, this is how I filmed 20 documentaries this year, you can't turn around to me and say, no, Lefty, you didn't do that. Or no, Lefty, your information is wrong. It's like, no, dude, you're like, I did it, right? But the person that's like the people that are sitting there saying 3 reasons why, 5 reasons why, 10 reasons why, they're all saying the same thing. Some of them might have actually hit those numbers. Some people might have not. But that's where you get into the imposter, because, you're just becoming a fact checker, right? Fact checkers, essentially, I can get information everywhere. ChatGPT has actually proven to us that information is a commodity. So do you want to continue being a commodity and just spitting out the same BS that everybody else is talking about? Or do you want to live life, come from experience, maybe, get off social media for a little bit? I noticed that once I actually left social media and I only started to post when I actually had something to say, dude, my creativity just skyrocketed. And I had this conversation with my writer, and even my writer pointed out to me, he goes, bro, what happened to your confidence? He's like, where the hell did you go? Like this isn't the same Lefty that I knew like 2-3 years ago. Like, yeah, you're still upkeeping the same level of, professionalism and work, but I'm starting to kind of see like a little bit of a slump in your creativity. And we really dissected it, and straight up, man, it's the phone. It's the phone. It's social media. I understand that, be social on social, but the truth is like, it's killing us, guys. Like, I would rather live more life. I would rather walk down the street in a snowstorm and get splashed by a car soaking wet, policing, just so I can go on and have something to talk about, rather than, just scroll. Because again, you fall into that comparison trap. You start looking at things and you're like, oh man, this isn't good enough. Oh, I'm not going to put that out because that person is in my circle and they have a videographer and they're better than I am, and right? And one thing that I studied throughout this entire time is, God gave us the skill, right? The skill is for the audience, but the art is for you, right? You can't turn around to somebody and be like, hey, you know what, Jay, I saw that post. It was crap. Like, what was crap about it? It means nothing coming from me. Your art is your art, and you have to like what you put out there. The value comes from within, doesn't come from outside. But what I can value is the skill and the effort and the time that you put into that. And I value the skill, but I cannot say that the art is bad because it's subjective. If you like the art, then that's all that matters. And then when you build that personal brand of yours and you start coming from a place of true authenticity, then it doesn't matter what you put out, and it doesn't matter if people don't like it because you like it. And that's all that
amazing
matters.
You just shared and dropped some gold nuggets that I wanted to highlight and ask you to kind of expand on. Telling your stories is the antidote to imposter syndrome, because it's not, fact checking, it's not comparing. And on top of that, you said, you fall into the comparison trap, and just go live and tell your story. So how do we tell our story better? Because number one, there's many people that I talk to, my clients, who don't feel like you said, with a comparison, they don't feel like they have a story that's worthy enough of telling, number one. And number two, how do we prevent ourselves from getting into that comparison trap? Because it's actually what prevents a lot of people from going live, because they're lacking that confidence.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, because I just finished the point, getting rid of the comparison trap is very simple. Get off your phone. Just get off your phone. Like, no one is gonna, like, if you don't post for 2 days, like, no one's filing a missing persons report, guys. Like, relax. like you can literally not post for a month and come back, and guess what? People are still gonna remember you, right? Like don't worry. Like, just get off the apps, get off social media. Like, I haven't gone as far as like deleting the apps from my phone, but I've, like, my phone right now is here, it's charging. But when I'm at my computer, or if I'm like editing, or if I'm doing something, I leave my phone upstairs. I leave my phone where I cannot touch it. I can't look at it. I can't do anything. I think my screen time has gone from, like, I don't know, it was outrageous. It was something like 20, 30 hours a week to like maybe like 6 hours a week now.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And that's just because like I'm just living life. I just want to live life. And when I can live life and I can do things, I can create better products for the people that are going to watch those products. And telling better stories. Like, if you feel like you don't have a story, well, the truth is you do. You do. And the one, like, when I get on these discovery calls or these pre-approval calls, I always get this a lot of the time. And it's like, well, Lefty, I don't know if this is for me because like I'm new, like I'm just like a 12-month-old baby business, or like I've just been in it for 2 years, or I don't know, like, or I haven't hit $1 million in my business, or I haven't hit 6 figures in my business. Like a documentary for me? It's like, well, your business might be 12 months old, but how old are you? Oh, you're 46? Oh, well, you have 46 years of experience. Like, you're telling me that you in the 46 years that you've lived, you have nothing to say? You have nothing to share with me? Like, absolutely nothing. You were born and then you're 46, right? So when you come from, then at that point you start to kind of scratch the head and you go, oh, well, I remember, scraping my knee, or I fell off my bike, I broke my bone. My mom had to move us because I was being bullied, and then this town gave me my first opportunity, and then whoa, okay, guys, now we have a story to tell, So it's just a matter of like, the more we're doing this, it kills that portion of the mind. It kills a portion of the mind to think outside the box, right? One thing that I've had to really, and I've struggled with this even till this day, is just being okay being by myself. Like, just sitting there doing nothing, even if I'm just staring at a wall, right? I have this, like, or if I'm out to lunch, like I have this, I'm eating and I have this urge to want to pick up my phone and look at my phone, and I just have to be like, no, why can't I just sit there and just enjoy my meal, right? I think once you can kind of start being okay with just being by yourself, the brain does like incredible things. But there are times where, you do need somebody like me who's going to come out there and like bring that additional light to the story, right? I've had those instances where somebody's like, hey, I've gone through ABC 1, 2, 3, XYZ, and it's like a crazy story. But there's the other side of the spectrum where it's like, let's use someone like Tuan, for example, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, and this is just an example, but it's just like, he's got a crazy story, but he's somebody that, hey, I don't know how to actually put this in a film, right? Okay, here, let me take the pieces of the puzzle and I'll put it together for you, right? So there's two sides to people. It's the people that don't know what they don't even know that they have a story, and I'm here to kind of rip it out of you. And then you do have a story, but you don't really know the angle and the twist and the way to actually like make people care about it. So, it brings me to a really, really interesting point, because I remember you and I went through this, right? I remember when you got something, we did like 15 or 20 videos for you, and you got something like 500,000 views or whatever, but it didn't really lead to much. And I was like, something's wrong here. Like, I was like, this is not like, I'm like Jay, the sales ninja. He has so much knowledge. Like, this guy should be like so busy that he needs like a duplication machine to have a second Jay. Like, 500,000 views, and he's got nothing from it but just like an amazing experience. And that's when I remember being like, yo, Jay, like, we need to tell your story, right? We need to tell your story. Like, and I remember at that point, you yourself, because I know you're a numbers guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how this is gonna like resonate to ROI. Like, it's a story. And I remember you having this conversation. And then I myself kind of had that struggle with other people as well during that time, the 2021, 2022 bubble of like being like story, even though like my picket really was like saying to the audience, village idiot, right? Like, but it's funny how all of a sudden it took 3 years, and now everybody is kind of just like talking about what I was talking about 3 years ago. And that's kind of like the power of it. That's the powerful moment of like, to kind of just, and I mean, I know that you tell so many stories, and I just love every time you put something out, because it's incredible. And I just almost want to just be like, why can't more people do this?
Well, let me ask you this, because you're such a great producer and a filmmaker and award-winning just ability to create these legacy films. What is one moment, because I mean you're behind the scenes and you're got all your light staging and your audio and your road mics, all these things that you do, which is what you do so well. And it's sometimes easy to be caught in the moment of just doing the work. But what is one moment that was like, you said experience is the most powerful thing, right? When you're doing a documentary or you're doing a film shoot. And what is one moment that you remember that was like, man, that was so moving. Like it just riveted you to the point of like whether it was tears or like that was raw, that was so powerful. Is there anything that you recollect from your many footages and documentary series that you've captured that was like, that was powerful, that moved me?
Yeah, I mean, the stories that I get to hear from people are first and foremost like incredible. And I think the thing that moved me the most is like, when people open up to you and it doesn't happen like right away. You got to build that comfort level. I have like more than a handful of like Zoom calls or phone calls or FaceTimes with people before we even get to production, right? There's like an entire pre-production process that needs to happen first. But there were 2 instances where I had people cry while filming them. And like it almost put me in tears because of the story that they were to say at that time. One person, talking about how his father was the Rock and he lost him to cancer and all that. And that just sucked when I heard that. It was like really, really bad. But it also brought up another moment for me too, because we just lost my wife's dad a year ago to cancer. So that was a very emotional moment for me. But I mean, and it's not like a matter of like I want to deliberately pull this information out of you just for like the wow factor for the audience. Like at the end of the day, when you're creating a documentary and you're creating something that has your story, or you can even go as far as just calling it even an autobiography, like at the end of the day, first and foremost, forget the ROI for a moment. You're doing something for you, you're doing something for your family, you're doing something for that moment that you're not here anymore. Your loved ones have something to look back on. Your grandchildren have something to remember their grandparent by, or their great grandparent by, right? I think when it comes to stories, like I don't know, like I just look at it too, because like I get it. I've been getting into scripture a lot more, right? And it's like, look at how many stories Jesus told. Like, you think he gave a crap about how much money he was going to get from his stories? Like, he didn't care. So why should we care, right? We should do it for us first, moving forward, and then along the lines worry about what's going to come from it, not what's going to come from it. And because what comes from it, that gives it value to share our story. I think us as a society have just kind of put very materialistic expectations on the things that truly matter versus just doing the thing that truly matters and then focus on the materialistic expectation. And I think when people can start looking at their brands that way, and they can just be like, yeah, I did that video, or yeah, I did that documentary, and yeah, whatever, it has 30 views. Yeah, whatever. I haven't booked a discovery call from it yet, or it took 10 years to make my money back, but I still did it. I have something for me, something that matters to me and my family and my audience and my loved ones and all that. Right. I think when we all, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as whatever, I think when we can kind of reverse engineer the process of like, I want this for me versus I want this for my business, then you're going to start seeing the big benefits of what this can actually come out of it.
Wow, that was powerful, and I think that's a very in the world that we live in the high ticket coaching and online space that we live in, that's a message that is not common, and I respect and admire, that you mentioned at the end of the day, forget about the ROI for a moment. What truly matters is that we create something special that people can look back on with our loved ones and creating these fond memories. Like, I think that the thing that you deliver, we're going to go to the free gift in just a moment, which is a 6-figure documentary, Sales Secrets, which is not just looking at old photos or bad quality video footage that doesn't really capture the essence of remembering that person well, but capturing real moments with Lefty live that live forever. So here's an idea that came as you were talking. I think it was godsend. It was like, there's so many people that have not been able to say what they want to say or have the other person speak to them and capture that moment. So legacy love letters, where while your loved ones are living, they can give you a love letter or a letter of encouragement, instead of just penning it, but actually giving, let's say, your father-in-law just gave you a love letter and just spoke to you in video, and you captured that, and you can replay it literally every single day and know that that's what their sentiment was, and how they felt about you. Dude, legacy love letters. My goodness. Wow.
Great.
Powerful.
That's great. That's great. I think like another reason like I started thinking about this too was just like, let's take weddings for example, right? Like you'll go and spend, anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 on video production without an ROI, because there is none, for a 50% divorce rate. Yet you still spend $10,000 on a film that ends up in a 50% divorce rate, which is sad. I don't agree with it. But when you can start thinking about it from that angle, why would you not treat your brand with the same love that you did when you were about to say I do? Right? We should just be saying I do to our brands. And when you can say I do to your brand without any and zero expectation, man, you'll like God will move mountains for you. Like absolutely. I truly believe that.
Amazing. So you've heard it here, guys. If people are spending $3 to $10K on a wedding video that, as we know with the divorce rate is 50%, that's not a great rate. The success ratio is very, very like a split. If you're treating yourself to I do, then imagine what you can do for your brand and something that actually will last the length of time, because you can't divorce yourself, right?
Imagine.
There we go. That's a parody for another video. I love that. So tell us about the free resource that you're giving and gifting to our audience with the 6-figure documentary, Sales Secrets.
Yeah, the 6-figure documentary Secrets is essentially like a little mini, maybe you want to call it blueprint or roadmap. It's just kind of like how to think about how you can make 6 figures literally with just one film. That is it. If you never did anything ever again, if you stopped posting on social media right now and you just focused on that one film, you can make 6 figures. And I know it sounds crazy. I know you're probably like, Lefty, you once again, I'm going to treat you like the village idiot. But think about it. We put time and effort into something that we are proud of. And then what happens? We put it on our stories, and we put our story up once, and then we expect people to just like gravitate towards it. Like, are you not proud of the work that you did? Like you should be constantly excited and advertising that one film and that one piece of art that you created. So I kind of started looking at it like this, where I was like, okay, we here are so focused on producing quantity versus quality, where I would rather do 50 reels and get 100 views on each of those reels as opposed to one video that could have 50,000 views? There's something wrong here. So imagine filming one video, one documentary. For me, it's a film. It's not a video. Imagine doing one film all of 2025. Do not do a single piece of content, and focus on promoting and advertising just that one piece of content. I can almost guarantee that because of the amount of people that it would reach, you would be crazy to not hit 6 figures by the end of the year.
Amazing. Well, you definitely have the skill and the talent, and I love that you're an artist. You came from being a wedding videographer, photographer, music lover, DJ. Your family has the DNA from many moons ago to be able to be who you are, do what you do, tell your stories, to build these legacy films, to become an icon and share these secrets. So how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so very simple. Your Legacy Filmmaker on my YouTube channel, Your Legacy Filmmaker on Instagram, my name, Lefteris Koutinas, on Facebook, or you can simply just go to yourlegacyfilmmaker.com, and you can check out my films there, and you can also book a time to chat with me if telling your story is something that you feel is the right thing to do next year.
Okay, cool. And before we let everyone go, I know this is the answers can vary, but like, what kind of time does it take to build a documentary, and how long are these documentaries that you do for different people?
Oh man, that's a great question. I mean, there's so many different avenues and ways of going through things. Like you can do, a short film, you can do a feature film, you can do episodic series. Typically the films that I have produced have anywhere between an 8 to 12 minute running time. But, I've done feature films as well, which have been more in the 45 minute to 90 minute realm. It's really tough to say how long it could take, right? We start everything with pre-production. At the end of the day, nothing happens without pre-production first, which means we have to run through all our logistics. We have to figure out the story that we're going to tell. We go through location scouting, color palettes. We literally brand placement. If let's say you're affiliated to a certain brand or business, there are so many things that we have to work out first. Only then, once that's all done and covered with, then we can move on to the production phase. Sometimes pre-production can be as little as 30 days. Sometimes pre-production can be as long as 90 days. It really depends on how quickly we can collaborate together to be able to tell the story that we're going to tell. And then production, a feature film can literally be done in 20, 21 or 22 days. That's literally how long a movie that has a theatrical release takes to produce. But we could do it in 21 days, but typically that's like there's nothing else happening during that time. Like we are just focusing on your project, and we like doing that too, because we don't want to be doing 2, 3, 4 projects at once. We like kind of focusing our attention on you and only you. But yeah, typically 30 to 60 days is that time frame, and then add another 30 to 60 days in the editing suite. So yeah, you're looking at about 4 to 6 months. That's the minimum time requirement to do these types of projects. But once they're done, they're awesome. They're fantastic. They're exciting. I got to go to Egypt for one of them.
Oh
this year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll have to talk about that on another podcast episode on the next one.
Yeah, of course. But no, I've got to travel a lot. I've got to see so many different people, different places. But at the end of the day, it's wherever the story wants to lead me. That's where I go. So there are no limitations to how these things are done and how they're produced. The only limitation is how limited, your mindset is in terms of creating it, because the world's the oyster, man.
Amazing. So there you have it, everyone. That is a wrap for the Sales and Dish Show podcast. If you want to become a celebrity or build an iconic brand in your industry, connect with Lefty. He's going to make you an icon and build your brand. And look at these awards. I didn't know Aquaman was a filmmaker as well. He did that a lot. And you can say you're his doppelganger. And so thank you guys for tuning into the Sales and Dish Show podcast. If you are interested in becoming a guest on our show, comment podcast, and we will get a hold of you to see if you're a good fit. And also, if you're looking to get some free resources to help you increase your sales, feel free to go to our Facebook group community. And actually, we're going to be starting a brand new school community. So comment school with a K, SKOOL, if you want access to that. And I want to thank Lefty, my filmmaker, videographer, video Jedi, Mr. Greek and Korean in Toronto, collaborating to do some amazing work for 2025 and getting more lunch and bubble tea. So
yes,
on behalf of Lefty and myself, we're here to help you to sell more, to give more. And thanks again for your time, Lefty.
Thank you for having me.
Peace.